Hello, everyone. My name is Stanley St. Rose, and today we're going to be talking about the poem Learning to Read by Francis Ellen Watkins Harper. Very long name here. Now, before I go into summary analysis of this work, please remember to leave a like, subscribe, and/or comment so that the channel can continue to grow. So, this poem by Francis Ellen Watkins Harper is a very interesting poem. It's very straightforward. You're looking at the time of when former slaves are starting to get free, and the Union side of the Civil War is sending down to the South, is sending teachers, educators to teach the freed slaves how to read, literacy, just a basic education. And as you know, people in the South, um, they're not happy about this, and this goes against the laws of the South. They don't want slaves or former slaves to read because when they start reading, they'll obtain an education. They'll learn about what's going on, the money that's being made off of their labor, and so throughout the poem, you kind of see this, this breakdown of how former slaves are, um, trying to sneak around to get a word here and there, trying to figure out how to put letters together, stealing wisdom and a phrase, trying to understand here and there, trying to put lessons back together, all while trying to make sure that um, you know, their masters don't see, or trying to spread around information without getting caught or without being seen, because you know from the Union side, from the freed um, people side, this is all normal education, learning how to read and write, getting a basic education. It's all normal. But from when you look at the Confederates, looking down south, the states who oppose, um, you know, uh, the abolitionist movement, they're very much against any education for formerly freed slaves, or they just they don't want it. It's just against the law. They don't want anything to do with it. And so in the poem, you kind of see Chloe, the speaker of the poem, talking about all the ways that black people are trying to learn how to read, the ways that they're sneaking around, and ultimately how she herself, although they told her she was too old, although they told her that she wasn't good enough, she learns how to read. She learns how to read the Bible, and she learns how to advance herself financially through her education, which is very quite it's the point of education. Education is supposed to lead you to some type of financial freedom or societal freedom, because the way it works is through money. You need money to do everything, to buy things, to eat. One way that's legal and the direct way to get money is to obtain some type of skill, and then put those skills up for sale. That's why people, go to college, go to some type of school of education to get some type of practical skill, something that you can get paid for doing. That's just how the world works. You go to school, you obtain some type of skill, and then you sell it for a salary or for the hour. Um, and so this poem is, it shows you how much black people or formerly slaves had to fight, how much they had to fight to just, to learn how to read, to get a basic education, and the tricks that they would use. I mean, think about, you're a grown man and you have to steal little vocabulary words, or learn how to put words together by listening in to a child's education session, or things like that. So that's what you get from the poem. But it's also, in terms of deeper meaning analysis here, it also shows you the resilience, how much these formerly, these freed slaves, how much they had to work, how much they had to fight for everything. Nowadays, a lot of people take education for granted, and they don't really appreciate education. But without a good, proper education, like education and literacy, it's not guaranteed. Yes, a lot of people know how to read around the world today, but there are a significant amount of people around the world that still don't know how to read. Not every country has free education. Not every country has public education, and everybody can go. In many countries, parents have to pay for their kids to go to school, and if your parents decide that that's not important, you don't get to learn how to read and write. You don't get a basic education. You're just born, and that honestly, to me, it's hard to wrap my mind around that, because uh, how do you, if you can't read or write, if you don't know the alphabet, if you don't know these things, you know, what is thinking like? Because once you learn how to read and write, you kind of learn how to format your thoughts in a certain way. I mean, in school, education teaches us how to think in a certain way, to have to have ideas, to have supporting information. Because once you go to school, once you go through proper education, you learn how to think. Critical thinking. That's something that schools teach you. So if you don't have a proper education, you pretty much have to rely on external information just by, whatever you observe, you follow, you learn by observing. I mean, it kind of makes sense. That's how humans thought for a very long time. You know, tigers bite. They eat people. Don't go towards that tiger. I mean, you learn by observation, by seeing the world around you before we establish education around the world. So this poem really made me think about that. It's like, if it wasn't for school or education, the way that we think, because school structures our thinking, the way that we think and the way that we come about and find a conclusion to a problem. If it wasn't for modern education or just education in general, how would we think? I mean, we would definitely think, but it would be very different. Um, you know, so yeah, yeah. Again, poetry. This is what's fun with poetry. It does convey a lot of thoughts, or evokes a lot of thoughts in your mind to how the world works. But in the end, this poem it shows you what former slaves had to go through, the fight it took between the Union and the Confederates, the Yankees and the rebels. Um, in terms of, you know former slaves, in terms of education, in terms of learning how to read and write, and it's just, honestly, it begs more questions to what happened at that time, and what people had to go through. But that's all I had to say about this poem. Please remember to leave a like, subscribe, and or comment, and I'll see you guys in the next video.